Ride with GPS, Komoot. Which one is better? Which one should I use moving forward? I got them both. Well, stick around and I'll tell you how I come up with what I'm going to be doing. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, like I said, a Ride with GPS and a Komoot. You guys have been following, you know I've always considered the Ride with GPS the gold standard. Now I've been using more and more of the Komoot. Has that become the gold standard? Well, you tell me what it is for you if you're using them both. And I'll tell you at the end of this ride what it is for me. Now, first off, let me tell you what I've got. I've got the basic subscription with a Ride with GPS. That's $60 a year. I've got the World Package with a Komoot. That's $30 one-time fee. And so, we're going to have to reverse route, it looks like. But that's what I have. There's no other fees associated with that. So it's not the premium of either one of them. But I thought, you know, when I was kicking this around, well, this is a little better on this app, this is a little better on this app. Which one is going to be the best overall? And I couldn't decide. And I thought, you know, hey, think about what it is you're doing. Think about what you do with the app. You know, think about what you want to do with the app. Think about what you do with the app. And so what we do with these apps is we use them for navigation, building new routes. I don't use them like the majority of people, like they was kind of designed to do, is say, take me on a 20-mile ride or take me from this town to this town, find the best bike route. We kind of find some greenways and try and connect them together. Michelle does not like to get caught in heavy traffic, so that would just stress her. So we use street views and things like that to connect all these greenways together that we go out and ride on. And it's been working pretty well for us. She'll find the greenways and I find ways to route that are good routes for us. So we make a really good team like that. But that's how, you know, that's what we use them for. Now there's basically three areas that the apps, you know, there's kind of three different distinct areas. There's building a route, there's navigating that route, and then there's what you do with it when you're done with that route. All right, so let's talk about those three areas. Building a route. For the most part, they're very similar. The Ride with GPS has a couple extra maps on there with a basic subscription. But the Komoot has some pretty big advantages. One of the big advantages is on the Komoot, you've got what's called highlights and you've got points of interest, and they're available as you're building a route. A point of interest is public parking, a cafe, places to eat, public parking, public restrooms, checkpoints is one of them on there for over in different countries that have checkpoints, and points of viewpoints or overlooks, something along those lines. So why are those pretty important? Well, we might not know about a historic site, and it might be a quarter of a mile off of our route, and we see it when we're building that route, so we navigate to it. And when we get up to, let's say, this turn coming up here, it'll say turn left, and then 1/4 of a mile, historic site, you know, or whatever that point of interest is. And we can decide right here, do we want to go, or are we running late? Do we want to just keep running down this way? We can make that decision because we know what it's guiding us towards up here. We're going to a historic site. So that's a big plus. Now the other thing on there is highlights. And when you are riding on the Komoot, you can create a highlight. I can just pull off and snap a picture. I don't even have to do that. I can come back after I've rode the route and find a place here, and I can create a highlight and name it whatever I want to name it. And it might be the red brick pillars if I want to navigate back to this area. And that'll show up on my route plan no matter where I am. Now on hello puppy, how are you doing? How are you doing? That'll show up on my route planning no matter what I do. Now with the Ride with GPS, as you're riding, you can insert points of interest, and they got a whole list of them. So you can put them along there. The problem with it is you have to pull up that plan to see that point of interest. So yeah, that's a big plus for the Komoot. The other big thing is the highlights, and that's, you know, things that other people have put in there. And I've seen them labeled as, no kidding, nothing to see here. It's a highlight. Well, what it is it's basically a trailhead where several greenways come together, or trails come together. And so somebody's named it that so that they can just pull that up and route right to it and then go off on one of the different trails. But that's not only available to them, that's available to everybody. All you got to do is click on, open up the highlights. And everybody that's ever had a highlight, and there's quite a few of them when you get into the more populated areas, and they're real, it's pleasurable to have those there. You know, you can find some things that you would have never found on your own. So, boom, building the routes. Komoot's kind of got it made there. So now, navigating. Well, when we're navigating the routes, they're both pretty even on their voice navigation. I have no problem with either one. The Ridewith GPS has a big advantage in that it will tell you each time that you go a mile, or you can set it for a half mile or 2 miles, it'll tell you, you know, distance 1 mile, time this, average speed this. The Komoot does not do that. The other nice thing about the Ridewith GPS is the metrics that are shown are customizable. Now, that bothered me a lot about the Komoot. I started thinking, okay, well, what do I use on my Ridewith GPS? Well, I have how far I've went. I've got how far I got left to go on a route. I've got the current time. I've got the amount of battery that's in my cell phone, because that's what I'm running on it. And I got the duration that I've spent, and that's on the front screen. There's M5, and then you scroll over and you get the elevation that you've increased in elevation, decrease in elevation. That's on there as well. And you can basically customize every single one of them. 100% customizable. A lot of different metrics you can get going on in there. The Komoot is nowhere near as good in that, but never ever ever say an old cowboy is not resourceful. We can figure some stuff out. Now, it might take us doggone forever to figure it out, kind of like going to, you know, across the county when you jump in your car and go, and we jump on a horse and go. It takes us a lot longer to get there, but by golly, we're going to get there. Whew, here comes the wind again. Here comes the wind again. But so what I did was, I don't know if you can see this. You probably cannot see this. I'll see if I can maybe shadow it. But I've got my Komoot up here, and I've got, this is the distance that I've traveled. I can make it bigger or smaller, and this is the distance left on the route. We just kind of picked up this route midway here. And so, yep, hit that bell. Did you hear that? Hit the bell, hit the bell. So those are two of the metrics that are on there. You've also got your next waypoint and your following waypoint. It tells you exactly how far they are. And again, these things, you know, your speed and your average speed, you know, they can all blow up. And then you've got your, I'm going real slow because I'm having a hard time seeing this, your time in motion and your remaining time. And what you do not have, and then you get into your grades. What you do not have on this is your duration of the time that you have spent since you started the route. And I would rather see that than the time I've been in motion. If we stop and just chat for a little bit, I don't care that we're not in motion. That's still time that, you know, we're out. So I want to see how much time we've been out. So what I did was I just got on the Google Play Store and I found a clock that I was able to customize, and I've got my time and my percentage of my battery left. It's down here again. You probably can't really see this, but it's on there. And then I put a stopwatch on it that is Again, you may not be able to see that, but I just found this stopwatch last night, but so I messed it up and I clicked it when I wasn't supposed to click it, and I reset it. Whew, that wind. It's blowing me backwards and I'm coming downhill. Wonder if I should bebop down that way there. Now we're all right here. That'll give me my total duration. So we've got all the metrics that I actually use on the Ride with GPS. I've got them available on my Komoot. So again, the navigation, because of those points of interest that you know what you're going to, and the highlights, you know what you're going to there. You're just not going to a point somewhere, you're going to an overlook somewhere. I got to give the nod to the Komoot on the navigation as well. The one thing that I don't have is how far I've been. Well, I guess I could throw any other app in there and that would tell me that, that Cadence app that I use some of, and the Map My Rides, that'll tell you all those things, but I don't really need those. They're just kind of interesting, let's put it that way. Now, what's left? So far, I've said the Komoot's better on the navigation overall, and it's better on the building a route overall. What's left after you're done with a route? Again, the Komoot's taking a prize on this one, because what you can do, if I was in heavy duty training, the Ride with GPS pulls up a lot more metrics, and its dashboard is phenomenal. Really a great dashboard on there. Again, that cowboy mentality, I learned how to build databases in the computer, and so I've went ahead and computerized our dashboard, that we know how far everything is away from home, and how long the rides are, how long they take to do, what the grades, I got all this information that's on the computer, so it doesn't matter what app folds, I've still got everything, and I can just put a GPX file into anything, even if it's a Garmin. So we've kind of figured that out, but I got to tell you, the Ride with GPS dashboard is great, though. I will give it that. Now, the Komoot dashboard is not as good. It's adequate, there's no question about that, but it's not as good. You can also use it for hiking. Michelle does quite a lot of hiking, and she's starting to use it for her hiking now, and you can separate all those things out. So it's an adequate dashboard, but that's about the extent of it. Now, what is nice and a big plus for the Komoot is, let's say I just come out here and I record a ride. Yeah, just about getting ready to wrap it up, and I hear that familiar beep, 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 beep. Battery went dead on the camera. But anyway, when you finish out your route, I believe this is where we was at, the dashboards and whatnot. The one big advantage that the Komoot has is, if I just record a ride and I come back and I want to take that ride again, I can just pull it up on my Komoot, and it will give me voice navigation. On the Ride with GPS, you pull it up, you have to build it into a route instead of a ride. It won't navigate a ride for you, and you have to do that each time unless you save it as a route, and that's a little bit of a pain there. So that the Komoot got a little advantage on that. What else we got for comparison here? I really think that's going to be about it on the comparing them. So what's that leave us with? Well, I'm going to stick with a Komoot. If Ride with GPS wants to give it to me for another year, I might give them another shot, but I don't have to pay another nickel for the Komoot, and I'd have to pay another 50-60 for the Ride with GPS. I think they said mine was $50, but I know it's 60, so they probably would send me a bill for 60. I've got until August to figure that out, but as it stands right now, I think the Komoot's a better app. So, hey, that's what I come up with. You tell me what you guys think as far as the apps that you're using and what you use them for. I'd really love to hear. All right, I'm gonna head back down here, guys. Till the next time, it's Southern E-Biking telling you, stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels rolling. Once again, we're out.